Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news this Saturday night. Something a little bit different maybe, but we've got a lot to talk about actually. I've had an email from one of you, which is absolutely brilliant. We'll go through that a little bit later in the show. Also an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer warning, a transfer ban at Manchester United. Lots to get into, as I said. I can't remember some of it because I have got to shout out, well I don't have to shout out. The reason I'm a little bit late is, Aroma Restaurant in Bentley Heath. That's where I've been. Lovely, lovely Indian food. That's why I'm a little bit late. They didn't ask me to shout them out. I just done it because that's the sort of person I am. But look, we have got a lot to get into tonight. I've completely forgotten because I've had a few beers. But I think the place, I've got a quote from Ronaldo as well. This was Ronaldo in his last interview with Piers Morgan. Manchester United don't have the structure, but they're still in my heart. I love the club. Ruben is doing his best, but what is he going to do? Miracles? Some players don't have the right mindset of what Man United is. Ronaldo predicting the future as per usual. And also, listen to this from Darren Fletcher. The next permanent manager needs to be evolved modern day version of what we experienced as players. Playing forward, running forward, fast attacking football, that's the DNA. That's Darren Fletcher doing an interview with Owen Hargreaves on TNT saying that the next permanent manager of Man United needs to be playing forward, running forward, fast attacking football, that's the DNA. You know what we need to do? Shit out the DNA and flush it down the toilet and never see it again. I mean, he's talking like a guy that doesn't appreciate that Ruben Amorim had us in the top 3 for goals scored, chances created and XG when he was sacked. I mean, we're acting like a football club that didn't sack a manager on Monday who was 3 points off the Champions League, playing very attacking football and asked for signings in January and got sacked for it. And at the end of the week, we've got an interim manager talking about DNA and promoting the youth and no mention of signings. I mean, whoop-de-fucking-do. And some fans are swallowing it like bloody Bonnie Blue on her knees. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible that some of our fans are so stupid that we've literally on Monday, Craig David FC, on Monday, we've sacked a manager who's got us 3 points off the Champions League in the top 3 for goals scored, XG and chances created. And he's sacked because he wants signings in January. And on the Friday, having drawn 2-2 with Burnley, we've got an interim talking about DNA and young players and nothing to do with transfers, and people are optimistic. No wonder the Glazers are there knocking one out to their bank balance. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible how moronic some people in our fan base are. I mean, it's incredible. We've sacked somebody because he wanted signings, and we're gloating and glowing somebody up who is talking about D-fucking-N-A and not transfers. And that's where we are. Darren Glazer. I mean, look, I'd rather have Fletcher over Ollie, but mate, he's a Glazer. He's a yes man. He's a company man. That's what he is. And that's what Ollie will be as well. And people are championing this. Mad. Absolutely mad. I'm telling you. Anyway, look, lots to get into on the show tonight, as I said. This could be a good show, says Ian O'Connell. Well, it could be. It could be a good show. But, look, I want to talk about Ollie first of all, because this is what Rob Dawson has had to say about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being the next Manchester United manager. ESPN says, Manchester United are hoping to have clarity on who will be leading the team for the rest of the season early next week. One of the issues potentially around Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, there's more than one issue, mate, is that the makeup of his backroom staff, which is actually a very, very, very relevant point, isn't it? Because Solskjaer's backroom staff, first time, was McKenna and Carrick. Who's his backroom staff this time? Because I'll tell you one for free. If Ollie's backroom staff is Fletcher and Travis Binion, or whatever his second name is, that's a joke. You may as well not have Ollie and just use Fletcher and Travis now. Like, you can't have Ollie and Fletcher and Travis as his bloody backroom staff, considering they're already in post already. So, you know, it's a good point. Not only do I not want Ollie to get the job, who the bloody hell is going to be his backroom staff, because his backroom staff were pretty bloody important last time, considering it was Carrick and McKenna. So who the bloody hell is his backroom staff going to be? And I think it's a very good point by Rob Dawson. And, Man United shouldn't be looking at bloody Ollie anyway. But who's he going to bring in as his backroom staff? Because it won't be Carrick and it won't be McKenna. And if it's going to be Fletcher and Travis, then, why not just give them the bloody job in the first place? So very, very good point by Rob Dawson there. And, they're just a bunch of twats. They're definitely going to make a bad decision. I think we all know that. And Burma and Ahmad could be back for the City game. There's your January transfer window, says Josh. Absolutely. And even with a new midfielder, Amorim wouldn't have improved. Good riddance. A win per month in the last 7 months ain't acceptable. Can't understand the Ruben in people, says Gandhi. Yeah, well, Gandhi, I mean, at the end of the day, maybe you are Jason Wilcox on a Saturday night with nothing to do, but all I would say about your opinion is I'm not going to waste any time on it, because you've got absolutely no clue what Man United's all about, have you? I mean, you're literally trying to pin it on Amorim, who got sacked for calling the board out. So well done. Get your Glazer t-shirt and INEOS in printed above your arsehole. Hope you're well, Mark. United stand. Hope you had a good day, says Daniel Thompson. Thank you very much. And It's Me's gifting a membership as well. Thank you very much. Actually, you probably should put not INEOS in, enter here. Mark, from the criteria I've heard, these are 4 main candidates for the summer. Nagelsmann, De Zerbi, McKenna. How would you rank those 4? Tuchel, Nagel... Oh, mate, you're talking to the wrong person. I mean, I think there are people out there who are really excited about another manager in the summer. For me, I'm not really excited at all by it. I'm not. And just to JM, I'll answer anything. It's an 8 o'clock show and it's a Saturday night show, so it's a little bit different to normal. You can't defeat me, so try. Have a pop. I'm not bothered. But I'm not. Have a go. So Jim A says, Goldbridge in December. Amorim is sacking himself. Oh, God, don't reveal that. Oh, I was hoping no one would remember that's on the internet that I haven't deleted. Oh, no, I can't believe you've exposed me. I'm getting cooked on a Saturday night. Goldbridge in December said Amorim sacking himself. Oh, no, I thought I'd deleted them all, even though I've not deleted anything. Oh, no, I'm getting cooked on my own show. Oh, I may as well cancel myself. Oh, God, I can't believe you've exposed me with that one. Oh, God. Oh, shit. What am I going to do? And I'm live. Oh, can somebody just cancel the stream? And right, mate. I actually said Amorim was sacking himself after the Brentford game, which I believe was September. So, yeah, Amorim was sacking himself. 100%. Absolutely was sacking himself. I completely agree. And, oh no, caught in 4K. Oh, what am I going to do? Of course he was sacking himself. The results weren't good enough. But, at what point did I say sack Amorim in January because he wants signings? Never. I said give him till the end of the season. Yes, he was sacking himself because the results weren't good enough. But he shouldn't have been sacked in January. And he got sacked in January because he asked for players that would have stopped him getting sacked in the May. There we go. Not being horrid, I don't want Ollie or Carrick, just my opinion, says Mike JW, but I would rather move forward than back. Might as well keep Fletcher temporarily. Roosh says Ollie will be manager or head coach. And Emily Derry said this club signed Evra, Vidic and Cantona mid-season to achieve what they needed to achieve. And Glinios, Jason Wilcox and co think they know better. Yeah. And Birmo and Abad could be back for the City. Yeah, I've done that one from Josh as well. Right. There's something else I wanted to talk about. There's a lot I wanted to talk about. Just, I'm going to bring this in. I wasn't going to bring it in as early. Don't forget to get your questions in tonight. It is a Saturday night, which is a little bit different. John has just given us a super chat. You're very generous. Ollie's win rate was way more better than Amorim, but Amorim was good in Europa, says Jaden. I don't really know what to say about that one. I think it's slightly irrelevant. But look, this was an email I received from TR, and I just wanted to read it because I think it's actually very interesting. Because basically, it's the hints that Amorim gave us before the sack, basically. So he said, December 2025, Amorim must have had end-of-year transfer window meetings with Wilcox and was told he was not going to get any players in the January window. They also possibly discussed him playing a back four to suit the players he does have. But the cracks started to appear in public at this moment. 24th of December, pre-Newcastle presser, part 2. Words from Amorim. I have the feeling if we have to play a perfect 3-4-3, we need to spend a lot of money and we need time. I'm starting to understand that's not going to happen, so maybe I have to adapt. I remember that quote. Christmas Eve, I want to play a 3-4-3, but I'm not going to get the money and I'm not going to get the time. 29th of December, Amorim says club decisions can't all be one way, but the manager understands the way the team plays. Clearly a dig at Wilcox. He also said he can't change his way of playing for the players or the press. That will be the end of the manager. 2nd of January at the press pre-Leeds presser, part 2, he is asked about his comments on his system being unaffordable. He says he does not want to talk about it. He's asked again and gives the same answer. Asked if things have changed since he took the job and why he took it with those restrictions. He does not want to talk about that either. Asked if he had conversations with Wilcox about the matter, declines to answer again. He then says the reporter is very smart for asking those questions, hinting that something is going on and what the issue is. 4th of January, after the Leeds draw at the post-match press conference, Amorim says he is the manager, not the coach. Also says he knows the press receives selective info from the club, hinting at leaks and spin from the club. He has also said that every department needs to do their job and he will do his. 5th of January, fired. Very, very good from TR to detail that. I think we all witnessed it as well, but very, very accurate. I think Ruben Amorim was very honest in those last 2 weeks at Manchester United about what was going on behind the windows. And ultimately, it does come down to the fact that the club wouldn't spend in January, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago about how we've got Darren Fletcher sat doing interviews talking about DNA and attacking football when we're 3 points off 4th place. And we've got the 3rd best, we're in the top 3 for chances created, XG and goals scored. I mean, you couldn't get more bollocks if you tried, could you? Oh, we need to play with more attacking football. Darren, we're in the top 3 for XG, shots created and goals scored. What the fuck are you talking about, Darren? Oh, I'm just telling you what they told me to say. Jason told me to say it. It's not my fault. I'm just doing my best. Jason told me to say it. Jason said it. Xavi next manager thoughts, says Jaden. Never going to happen, mate. Not even been spoken to. We're interviewing Carrick, Van Nistelrooy and Solskjaer to be our interim manager. We're interviewing for interim, which is laughable in itself. We are interviewing interim managers. Get your head around that. The transfer window is open. Aston Villa are 10 points ahead of us. They're speaking to Tammy Abraham. They're speaking to Conor Gallagher as they try to improve 2 key positions. Man United are interviewing interims. So Xavi, who is available, hasn't even been spoken to by Man United. So that's all we can say about that. Fergie Way says hiring Amorim was stupid and sacking him was daft. Slow Sports News says, quite frankly, I've lost all interest in who the next manager will be. Just need to sort the midfield out. United have cancelled all outgoings, which says incomings won't happen this transfer window as well, says Slow Sports News. Well, yes. Very, very relevant point from Slow Sports News there. Not that he doesn't make relevant points, but it's basically come in from the Roma director of football, Ricky Mazzara, who has said that Manchester United, this is his direct quote, Man United have closed all doors with the managerial change. It looks highly unlikely that we can sign Zirkzee now. So Man United have basically shut the door. Zirkzee, who does want to go, can't go. Not going to happen. So the Roma really wanted to get him in January. Their director of football basically saying today, Man United have shut the door on anything to do with Zirkzee leaving Man United this January. So effectively, not only are we completely and utterly incompetent, we're now banning a player that wants to go from going because we can't replace him. And this is, my friends, a complete and utter shit show and another example of what a fucking mess it is at Man United, where we've got a player that quite rightly wants to go, who is a bench player at best, saying, I want to go, and Man United going, you're not going anywhere because we might need to use you off the bench at some point in the next 3 months. And if we let you go, there's absolutely no chance that we're going to be able to sign anybody, so you're staying. I mean, you must be over the bloody moon if you're Zirkzee, mustn't you? You know, you've hardly had any game time with Mbeumo and Ahmad and Bruno and Mount all out for the last few weeks. You've had hardly any bloody game time at all. They're all coming back now, and they're telling you can't go. I mean, look, my concern is Manchester United, but I've got to have some sympathy with Zirkzee, who 4 players who play in his position not available, doesn't get starts, and then they're all coming back, but you can't leave. Yeah, incredible. Free Zirkzee, says Kunnell. Well, yeah, I mean, in some ways, yes. Only idiots would deny Amorim would have got a much better performances and results had INEOS gotten him at least one competent centre midfielder for his system last summer, says Melik. And Daniel Tom. Well, look, I think you do get to a point where, you know, you've got to move on. They've sacked Ruben. We've got to move on, and you know, it wasn't all sunshine and sun cream. Well, it wasn't. But I certainly do think that to be 3 points off top 4 with the issues we had, if they'd bought him a midfielder, I'd expect to be in the top 4. I mean, I don't think Liverpool have been very good this season at all. I really, really don't. Fergie Way says, Carrick likes to play 3 at the back when attacking, so do other clubs. I think he should offer something valuable. Yeah, but God, if he plays 3 at the back, people are going to lose their shit again, aren't they? I don't know why we want Southgate for next season. It's pathetic, says Jaden. You better be bloody joking. If that idiot comes anywhere near Man United, I wouldn't bother, mate. Emily Derry says the people who are appointing the interim are not necessarily motivated by what is best for the club or the team. They will be looking for the option that best protects their interests. 100%, Emily. I think if you're Jason Wilcox and you've got a choice between Xavi and Solskjaer, I'm going Xavi. He's going to go Solskjaer because he's going to think, who protects me? Solskjaer protects me because everyone's going to love Solskjaer. So that protects me. I completely agree with you on that decision. I don't think this is a decision that's what's best for Man United. I think it's a decision of what protects me and makes me popular. Although, I mean, we haven't done a poll for a while. Let's just make it very easy. Do you want... I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is a complete blind poll. Do you want Ollie as interim? Yes or no? Let us know. Daniel Thompson's gifted a membership. Thank you very much. WGVH says, I'm so bored of binary views from some. Not rocket science. Can think Amorim made errors and think there are bigger issues, and him being sacked for criticising hierarchy is a concern. Not mutually exclusive, says WGV. Oh, 100%. I mean, 2 things can be right, you know. 2 things can be right. Amorim's results weren't good enough, but the board got it completely wrong sacking him. Amorim's results weren't good enough, but we absolutely needed to sign players in January. Amorim might needed to be sacked in May if it carried on like this, but not in January. I mean, there's a multitude of 2 things can be right. I think there are people in our fan base, if we're going to be completely honest, who, you know, have been screaming Amorim out for a very long time, but they're going to scream it about the next manager because it's not going to be the guy they want. I mean, most people who wanted Amorim out seem to want Xavi. We're not even talking to Xavi. I do not think for 1 minute that a lot of the Amorim outers wanted Ollie as an interim. I really do not think they wanted that. So don't for 1 minute think that these Amorim out brigade are going to be happy now. They won't. The patience will become less and less. I remember talking about this at the end of last season. I was like, we're in a very dangerous position. Ruben Amorim got the job in December, and people are saying Amorim out in March. That's 4 months. 4 months. So Amorim's gone in 12 months. If INEOS aren't awake to the fact that they've just caused a massive problem, you've basically said now that it's okay for United fans to start screaming manager out in the first 6 months. Well, it's open season, I'm afraid. If I decide after 2 games I don't like this manager, I can say manager out. And there's a good chance that they might be gone in 12 months. So, well done, Sir Jim. You know, the Glazers were doing a shit job, and somehow, miraculously, you've managed to mastermind an even worse ownership. Mark, isn't Southgate still available, says Havard. I mean, I'm a bit concerned that we've had 2 super chats tonight talking about Gareth Southgate, and all week I've not had any. There are worse alternatives than Solskjaer. If you see it this way, everything is a win for you, Mark. We all know how high you regard Gareth. Mate, Havard, Gareth Southgate as Man United manager is not a win for me. No, I don't think you realise how much that would bother me. Adam says they're dragging out the interviews to take eyes off transfers. Well, as we've spoken about quite a lot this week, I've never known a football club I genuinely have never known a football club interview candidates to be an interim. I can't think. I was thinking about it yesterday. Is there a football club that's ever interviewed for interims? I mean, an interim manager is basically a milk monitor. You know, you're not that important. You basically are there just so we've got somebody. You know, it's you don't interview them unless you're trying to extend the window and count it down and make it about that. I mean, God, what I will say is they'll give it to Solskjaer because it's big news. If you give it to Carrick or Fletcher, it's not that big news. But if you give it to Ollie, you can literally get rid of another 2 weeks talking about wheels and 99 and, you know, all sorts of stuff. We'll get 2 weeks out of this. And then the window's shut. I mean, Solskjaer is the worst candidate of the three, but he's the biggest news of the three, and you know they'll go for that. Social media. You don't need midfield to beat Everton at home, says Ismas. Well, you do. INEOS getting rid of a guy that's telling the truth, says Jacob. Do you think if the press didn't push him, he wouldn't have been sacked, says Fahad? No, it's got nothing to do with the press. It's Jason Wilcox, isn't it? It's Ronnie Pickering. It's Jason Wilcox. Jaden, I've done that one. Thank you very much as well. Why on earth are we not linked with Luis Enrique, says Melik. Well, why on earth are we not linked with Erling Haaland? I mean, Luis Enrique is one of the best managers in the world. I appreciate the Luis Enrique links, but the arrogance that he's going to come to Man United is outstanding. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you come to Man United? You know, you play for your manager at PSG. They go and get you João Neves. They go and get you Kvaratskhelia. They go and get you really good players. You come to Man United and Jason Wilcox is telling you to change your formation and he's not going to back you. I mean, I don't think I'd be jumping all over that one somehow. Especially when the Liverpool job might be up for grabs in the next 12 months. The Man City job might be up for grabs in the next 12 months. I don't think I'd be thinking about Man United if I was Luis Enrique. Theory, Wilcox to be sacked, so no transfers. They literally said head coach has no say, says George. Thank you very much. A search process for the interim is ridiculous. Barada and Wilcox live in a bubble. Bring in a qualified manager who knows the Premier League and back them, says Charlie Richardson. Look, I think, I think I've seen a lot of people talking about Ancelotti today. Sam Allardyce, Gary Neville, a lot of people saying Ancelotti to Manchester United. But I just can't see how it works. He's Brazil coach, very good federation. He's managed PSG, he's managed Chelsea, he's managed Real Madrid, he's managed Bayern Munich, he's managed top clubs. And you think Ancelotti, in the twilight of his career, with an absolutely impeccable CV. Even at Everton, he did well, considering what they were. Why would Ancelotti think, I really want to go and work with Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox? I mean, he's not going to be stupid, is he? You know, you're going into a really difficult job and you need competent people around you, and he's going to get two absolute Zooms. I mean, I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but they are so what they look like. Grey, dull, uninspiring. I think we're going to really struggle to get a top manager, because I think top managers are intelligent people, and I think that they're going to look at it and go, in the manager world, there may not be a lot of people that get on, but there is a lot of respect. And I think you'd look at Man United and you'd go, well, Ruben Amorim and Erik ten Hag were really good up-and-coming managers that Man United went for and said they were going to back, and they've chewed them up and spat them both out. And in Amorim's case, they've done it in a ridiculous amount of time, and effectively they've sacked him because the director of football said he knows best. That's a really bad look. I don't think people realise how high the chance is that we go with a yes man who is the interim. Because I personally think, and I hope I'm wrong, but I personally think United are spinning the fan base to shut them up. I personally think the whole interim till the summer and then a good manager is a lie. I don't think there's any truth in it at all. And I think the journalists are playing the game as well, or they're too stupid to realise what the game is. So all these people saying Tuchel in the summer, or Pochettino in the summer, or Ancelotti in the summer, or Maresca in the summer, I just think that's the game that Man United want to play to make fans feel positive. I think the real game is we cannot recruit Tuchel or Zirkzee or Pochettino or Ancelotti because they will not work here because they know what we're like. We've proved what we're like and how we've treated Amorim. They won't want to come here unless we give them the power that we can't give them. So what we need to do is get a yes man in, interim, who hopefully does well, and then we go, well, he's done so well, we're going to keep him. And I think that is exactly what's going to happen. United need a Liam Rosenior. Man United need an inexperienced yes man. It's a big club. And none of the managers that we're actually being linked to are that. So there's no one's going to work under Wilcox and Barada that's got any ounce of self-respect. So they're going to have to go for a yes man that will go, yes, sir, yes, sir. And I think that's exactly where we're going. I actually sort of hinted it on the morning show and will confirm it now. I don't think we've got any intention at all of going for a proper manager in the summer. Not to forget the financial issues with that. I mean, if you get your interim in, cheap as chips. You get your interim in, you've got to pay your interim, let them go, and then bring a new manager in at millions of pounds. I don't think I'll be very surprised if in August the interim manager isn't still the manager. Let's say that. Well, let's see what happens. But I'll be very surprised if whoever we pick as interim isn't the manager at the start of the season. Very surprised. When Ollie comes in, we still need to push for INEOS out. They need to know bringing Ollie back won't hide what they are doing to our club. Well, look, 72% of you don't want Ollie back. I'm quite surprised it's that high. But do you want Ollie as an interim? 72% don't. So that's your weight of feeling, isn't it? That's what you're coming in for. I don't think the feel-good factor is going to be there at all. I really don't. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think people are going to forget what this ownership has done. And I don't think people are going to be stupid enough to figure out what they're doing bringing Ollie back. It's a smokescreen. It's pretense, you know? Can Fletcher be the sporting director? He understands the DNA and should have the stones to press for better necessary players to bring in, says Alex. Alex, I don't want to be offensive, but I've heard this shit before, right? I heard this with Ollie. When Ollie got sacked, because he was so well liked, some people were saying, can't we have him as a director of football? Because he's not a very good manager. So there were a lot of people when we sacked Ollie saying, can we keep him because we like him? And even though he's a crap manager, can he be the sporting director? And I think, Alex, with all due respect, it's this sort of bollocks that costs us from being a big club. Why would Darren Fletcher be a sporting director? Arsenal have got Berta, one of the best in the game. And you want to give Darren Fletcher the job that he's never ever done. What does Darren Fletcher know about European transfer markets? What does Darren Fletcher know about South American transfer markets? What does Darren Fletcher know about strategically planning the club's next 5 years whilst also mapping out the next 6 weeks? Nothing. He's a learner driver. So I do not want Darren Fletcher to be the sporting director. I want bloody Pierre somebody. I don't know. That's actually very good. I want the name of somebody I don't know who is a bloody good director of football, who's never kicked a ball for Man United before, but knows what a sporting director does not need to know who scored the winning goal in the Champions League semi-final in Turin. You know, he doesn't need to know that. What he does need to know is European transfer markets, relationships with other clubs, you know, how to conduct yourself in transfers. These are the things we need. They don't need to have worn a bloody Man United shirt in the past. They really, really don't. So no, for me, I don't want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't want yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it. Director of football has admitted to interfering with managers' tactics, and the CEO has tweeted slagging off United. Man United, ladies and gents, says Josh. Well, I don't think Berard is very good at his job, but there are tweets of him slagging Man United off. But that's how far we've fallen. You know, it was years ago as well. They're dragging out the interim role because Wilcox's job is on the line. They can't get it wrong as top four is still salvable. Solskjaer will be a good choice as he has demonstrated a run of wins before, says ICM Entertainment, or otherwise known as Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Alan Miller says, United always says we don't go for a midfielder until later and it never comes. Seems the same with a proper manager. They love dangling the carrot to the fans and kicking the can down the road. And Christopher Woodhouse says, hi Mark, if we won the Europa League, do you think they would have invested heavily? I feel we would have been like Spurs down in 14th area with no squad depth and no investment. It's worrying. Would you want Zidane, says James? Well, let me answer that other point from Christopher. I mean, we did invest anyway a little bit. We just didn't buy a midfielder. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, isn't it? Because the Glazer model was don't qualify for Europe, spend a load of money to get back into Europe, and then don't spend, and then fall out of Europe. And this happened a lot. Jose Mourinho finished second. They didn't back him, and he was sacked by Christmas. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished second. They didn't really back him, and he was gone by Christmas. So the Glazer tactic was they hated being out of Europe, so they'd spend to get back into Europe, but then they wouldn't spend to stay there. So I don't know. If we'd won the Europa League, we would have been in the Champions League. Would they have spent as much, or would they have spent more? I don't know. I don't know. As for you, James, would you take Zidane? I mean, Zidane wouldn't go anywhere near this job because he's class. He's actually got a brain, and he only ever took the Real Madrid job because he loves Real Madrid. The only jobs I think Zidane will take in his career is Juventus, Real Madrid, France, or was it Bordeaux he played for? I don't think he would take any other job. He doesn't strike me as the guy that wants to be a manager unless it's something that's personal to him. I don't know. Yeah. Why don't we just go current Lille manager, says Black Bubba. And Wilcox thinks he's all about his shoulder, be interim, and shows how easy it is. Then mess it up and we can get a decent manager and sporting director, says Dan O'Connell. Thank you very much to Alex Fincher as well. Done that one as well. Jaden says, in my opinion, I've only watched Ollie, Ten Hag and Amorim. I like Ten Hag, but I prefer Ollie. That's just my opinion. And I think whoever we get, we need top four, says Jaden. I'm turning every United game into a drinking game. I'll suffer anyway, says Porf. Nagelsmann or Flick, says War Machine. Look, honestly, I don't want to be boring, but I have no... I'll always be honest, which is why I say on a Saturday night, after a few of these, definitely ask me anything. I have got... I mean, I did the video at the start of the week, didn't I? In the garden. I think it was called No Way Back. I've got no inspiration or appetite or excitement or hope about the next manager. And that might not be a bad position to be in, because if they do well, it'll be a major shock, and I'll probably appreciate it more than the people who had hope. When there's no hope and a rescue comes, it probably hits harder than people who think there is hope. So, maybe I'm about to get the best, glow up ever, but I have got no excitement about the next manager. I really don't. It's deteriorated by every manager. I mean, I couldn't stand Moyes. I didn't want Moyes. Van Gaal, I was quite excited about. Mourinho, I was over the moon with. I was like, this is the guy. Ollie was nostalgia. I didn't think he was going to get the job either. I was happy to have Ollie for a few months. I never wanted him to get the job, and then he did, and I was like, oh, fucking hell. Rangnick I was really excited about because I thought he was going to then be the director of football. Ten Hag, I liked at Ajax, and I thought, you know what, this might be a long-term project to build it out. And he did do quite well, but he never played the football at Ajax because the players weren't good enough. And then Amorim, I was like, fucking hell. Like, we don't even play a 3-4-3. It's going to cost hundreds of millions of pounds. They must have money. Didn't want him to play a 3-4-3 and didn't have the money. So the next manager, I don't know. Like, everyone I've just explained there had something exciting about them. Mourinho, one of the best in the game. Van Gaal, old, idealist. Ollie, club legend. And I only thought it was interim. Ten Hag, exciting hipster coach. And then Amorim, completely different formation, so we must have money. None of them worked out. I don't know who you can give me that's going to make me think, oh, this is different. I just don't. Doesn't mean I don't think they'll be a good manager, but I just don't see anybody coming in and making me think this is going to work. I think we've tried absolutely everything and we've messed it up because every single one of them hasn't been backed properly or given the time they need. So I just don't think there's a manager out there. I mean, Ancelotti would excite me. I tell a lie. I think if we got Ancelotti, he's one of my favourite managers ever. I mean, Ancelotti for me is up there with Sir Alex. Like, I just think he's an incredible coach. And I think in 20 years' time, when he's retired or worse, his name will get mentioned a lot. I think what he's done in so many different countries, and look, even managing Brazil now, he's not bloody Brazilian, is he? I just think he's an amazing coach. And I think he's an amazing leader of people. But I don't think we're going to get him. Yeah. Lytton says, I want Victoria Beckham as the manager. I'd rather have Victoria Beckham than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's no way we hire a World Cup manager in a World Cup summer. INEOS can't be that stupid, says Hookham. Mate, this is another reason why I think the interim will get the job. Because I don't think people understand how difficult it will be to recruit any manager. I mean, you give Zirkzee the job, he leaves Marseille at the end of May, and you give him the Man United job at the start of June, he still can't touch any of his players until the end of August, really. You give Ancelotti the job and Brazil gets the World Cup final, he still can't touch them until the end of August anyway. It makes no difference. It doesn't matter who you appoint in the summer. They're not going to get to look at those players until the end of July, because most of your players are playing in the World Cup this summer. Like, most of our first team are playing in the World Cup this summer because most of them, well, some of them might not get picked. Mason Mount, Harry Maguire, Mainu, etc. But it's the worst summer in the world. And again, this is a path not well trodden. Listen to this. This summer is the worst summer in years to appoint a new manager. For two reasons. Especially if you're a club that needs to buy a lot of players and sell a lot of players. This is the worst summer in years to recruit a new manager who needs to buy players, because the World Cup is the biggest it's ever been and it won't be finished till mid-July. Your new manager, therefore, won't get a pre-season, won't get his players until very, very late in the window, and won't be able to sell players until very late in the window. So when the season starts, you'll be in utter chaos. It's the worst summer in years to recruit a manager. It's the biggest World Cup we've ever seen. Nearly every bloody country's playing in it. So transfers and pre-seasons are out the window, really. Well done. Well done to Manchester United for sacking your manager in January. Well done. Bloody good move. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. But it does lend to the theory we will not be recruiting a new manager in the summer. It lends to the theory that if the interim qualifies for Europe, you get the job. And I tell you what, I will not say I told you so, but people just remember what I've been saying all day. I think the interim is the plan. Do not believe for 1 minute we're getting a manager in the summer. This is the cheap yes man recruitment that they're going to stick with. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Mike says, why would any decent manager come if Wilcox wants to make them his coffee boy and override everything, says Mike. Emily Derry says, Ollie's a big risk. He's already lost the fans and dressing room once. He could lose them very quickly, leaving the board in an awkward spot, says Emily. Well, look, I'm going to say something now. And, you know, probably wouldn't say it on any other show, but I will say it, right? I don't think we'll lose to Man City next weekend. In fact, without predicting it, I think we're going to win. I just do. And everyone will go, whatever. How many times have we played Man City and everyone said we're going to get beat and then we win? It's a bloody derby and we always seem to respond to the Manchester derby. I've seen better Man City teams than this lose to worse Man United sides than this. And it's at Old Trafford. So I think we will beat City next week. Arsenal, not so sure. But let's pretend Ollie gets the job on Wednesday, yeah? He's in charge for the derby. And we lose badly. It's over. It's fucking over, isn't it? It's over. There is no bounce. There is no Ollie's at the wheel. All right, you might go and beat Bournemouth in a few weeks, but ultimately, you've just had your pants pulled down by Pep. We're shit. So, this is the thing. It's so like going back into a relationship. It really is. I was trying to think the other day, have I ever gone back into a relationship when I've broken up with somebody? Yes. Yeah, I have. Numerous times. I was very young. I mean, I wasn't like under 10, and they were definitely under 10. No. That's just, we're not going down that road. But yeah, I did. I sort of got stuck in a rut when I was probably about 17. I lived in quite a rural place and there wasn't a lot of choice. And man's got needs. And, kept breaking up, but then laziness, you get back together. And it always ends up, you end up like, maybe have a couple of good days and then you're like, oh, this is why. This is why, you know? And I just think that when you go back, I remember saying this about Memphis. Remember when Memphis Depay got linked to Man United and some of you were going, let's bring him back. And I was like, the media wouldn't leave him alone. And he wasn't that good. So even if he comes back and has 3 good games, the first bad game, the media will be on him and everyone else will be on him as well. So I think if you're going to go back, you've got to be perfect every single day. Because the minute you do something wrong, everyone's going to go, this is why we got rid of it in the first place, you know? Ahmad's on his way back as well, so we'll have Ahmad back for the Manchester... Wow, you know, I don't look so stupid now then. Egypt have knocked out the Ivory Coast, so Ahmad will be back for the Manchester derby. But I don't look so stupid now, do I? I said we'll win the Manchester derby, and we've got Ahmad and Mbermo back for it. And Ollie is going to be back at the wheel as well. So, yeah, you know. But anything other than Emery is a failure for me. Need to do everything to get him. You know what, though? You know the big problem with Emery? I just don't know how you get Unai Emery out of Aston Villa. Aston Villa are better than Manchester United. Aston Villa are going to be in the Champions League again next year. Last January, Aston Villa bought in 5 players. This January, they're trying to get him another 2. He gets huge support at Aston Villa. And why would you leave Aston Villa to come to Man United? I mean, I can understand why you would, because it's Man United, but he's not going to get the freedom that he gets at Aston Villa. He gets a lot of support at Aston Villa. It's so obvious these gobshites, egos of INEOS, have been hurt. No spin is working. Trying to act innocent. Great to see, says David. Theory, Wilcox to be sacked, so no transfers. We've done that from George. Thank you very much. 11,000 legends watching on a Saturday night. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do smash a like on the video. We have hit 1,000 likes. That's always a positive. So thank you very much. Remember, it is a match day tomorrow. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the match tomorrow. I can't stand the owners. You know what? I'm very indifferent to the players. It's really weird. I am loving where we are as a conversation point at the moment. I mean, God, players are a massive problem, and I get very angry with the players. You know I do. But I've actually got no issue with the players at the moment. Even though there are some players in that squad that are a waste of space. You know, they are light switch, they are mercenaries, definitely. But they're such low priority. I've got no problem with the players at the moment. I'm so transfixed on the board and the owners that the players don't really bother me that much. Because if you could change the ownership in the board, the players would be gone anyway. So my only escapism with Man United at the moment, the only joy I genuinely get is when we play. So I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow because we absolutely need to win. And I think, as I said in the preview, Brentford are crap away from home and they play very open. So I think it'll be a good game to watch. There's a large part of me that wants us to win. Well, obviously, I want us to win, but there's a large part of me that wants us to win and they give Fletcher the job. I really don't want Ollie getting the job. I really think it'll be a fucking nightmare in the long term. Might be okay in the short term, but long term, I think it'll be a bloody nightmare having a massive yes man in the club, basically doing anything they want. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. Snazzy says, Ollie's at the wheel. He'll be the one to win as the Premier League. Ignore any past mistakes. So Jim knows what he's doing. Been a while, Mark. Well, it'll be a long while now because you blocked, you bloody idiot. The media will be all over him. Moot point argument when that's the case with any manager we have, says Nick Collins. Nath says it's $45 a month to watch the FA Cup. Thankfully, I'll be able to follow like usual with you, mate. Keep up the good work. Mate, you should not be paying for the FA Cup. Did a video on That's Football about the FA Cup. You need to watch it. Don't pay for the FA Cup. It's definitely sarcasm from Snazzy. I know, mates. I know. I've played the game. Mojo, thanks for your super chat. And hope you're doing well, mate. Absolute legend. Number one. And do you reckon we're going to get Nagelsmann as a coach? I'm not sure I rate him much, and I would prefer a Xavi or hopefully an Enrique. Highly doubt it, but the Fivell connection seems to be there. Right, every manager, right? Let me just whiz through this. I'm not excited because the owners are shit, but Tuchel has failed at two clubs, PSG and Chelsea. So he can fail. De Zerbi can fail. Southgate can fucking fail. Pochettino can fail. Nagelsmann can fail. So any manager you offer up, on their own CV, they've probably got failure. And they're going to come to a club which, you know, completely and utterly specialises in making managers a failure. So when I say failure, they've all had problems. Like they're not made of steel. So there is no manager out there that makes me think, even if you presented me with the most perfect manager in the world, I would say, how are they going to work under our board anyway? I don't understand fans. Sorry, Dylan says, I don't understand how fans like Terry think that Ollie, Fletcher or Carrick is their long-term plan, especially if it goes okay. Also, why are we so many forgetting the reason they sacked Amorim, says Dylan. Look, obviously I like Terry, and I wouldn't work with him if I didn't. But and I do respect different opinions, and I can't pretend to live in their head. I don't get it. I can only be true to myself. I don't know what it is that makes people think that we can work with Ollie. I really don't. But Sam says, are you drinking Kestrel? Chance of beer. I'd love to drink a can of Kestrel. I've got fond memories of Kestrel. I don't think you can buy it anymore. But I suppose it depends on... A lot of things come down to standards, don't they? Now, this is nothing to do with looks or IQ. But let's pretend on this hypothetical night out that did happen, we're ranking people out of 10 on the whole package. So, you know, if you went out with me tonight and you gave me a mark out of 10 based on the whole night, could be clothing, personality, ability to go to the bar and put your hand in your pocket, right? You give me a score out of 10. So let's think of it like that, right? If I went out on a night with Terry and we weren't both married and, you know, we're having a few drinks, but we're single, looking to mingle, and Terry goes, ooh, he's gorgeous. Actually, I don't know why I've done that to Terry. I mean, actually, let's keep it as a man. Who knows? And he goes, he's gorgeous. No, because it won't work for me. Let's go. She's gorgeous. And he goes and has a dance with her. And then he says, I'm in the travelling. I'm taking her back with me. Travel lodge, right? Off he goes, right? And I go, there's a few, but it's not what I want. I'm not interested. I'm going to go home and get on the phone, right? And the next day, we meet up for breakfast. And I go, how was he? How was she? And he goes, really good. Had a really good night. What do you think? And I go, well, honestly, she was below the standards I would have gone with. I would have given her a 5 out of 10. And I'd rather go home and go on the phone than go with that. But he goes, oh, I think she was a 9. I think she was a 9 and I've got a number and we're going to go bowling tomorrow. That's standards, isn't it? You can't criticise somebody for having different standards to you. And maybe Terry's 9 is a real 9. And maybe my 9's a 6. You know, maybe my standards, although they're up here, aren't the right standards to have. But I think if you're excited by Ollie, respect. RESPECT. Found it out way into me. Right? Respect. But I think your standards are, I quite fancy a domestic cup and being in the Champions League. That'll do me. That'll do me. I'm a happy person if we win an FA Cup and we qualify for the Champions League. Yeah? In which case, I get it. I bloody get it. Yeah, go for Ollie. Love it. Yeah, Champions League football and an FA Cup. You're probably right. And if that's your standards, that's great. But to me, he will never win as the Premier League. He will never win as the Champions League, and we will never be any good. And that's the standard I still hold Manchester United to. And I think a lot of people still do. And I think the minute you lower that standard, you allow the Glazers and INEOS to win. And that's not Ollie's fault, and that's not Terry's fault. I just think maybe his standards are at that level now. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong. But I definitely think there are people in our fan base, and I do respect it, I just disagree with it. I think there are people in our fan base that would be happy with an FA Cup and qualifying for the Champions League every now and then. But for me, when you've seen such riches, you can't live with being poor. I've seen United win Champions Leagues. I've seen us complete for the Premier League 10 years in a row. That's the standard we should be at. That's where we should be. I don't think we can ever be that with this ownership, but I'm never going to stop saying that's the standard. They're not dragging me down. No. They're not dragging me down. They might drag the standards down for some, but I am not accepting those standards. We're Manchester United and we should be competing for the league every year. And even though that's not realistic under these owners, that's not Man United's fault. That's the owner's fault. You better believe it. May not be a surprise, but they will get someone cheap like Glasner, says Stephen. Look, Beth likes Glasner. A lot of you like Glasner. I don't rate Glasner. You know what? I don't rate Maresca and I don't rate Glasner. I'll give him a chance. I always give someone a chance. I didn't want Lukaku. I didn't want Matic. I didn't want Fellaini. I'll give him a chance. To be fair, I don't think Matic was actually a bad signing. Lukaku and Fellaini, we'll forget about it. But I don't rate Glasner. I don't rate Maresca. I'm never going to lie. If I have a good feeling about a player or a manager, I'll say, yeah, I like this. But I don't like Glasner and I don't like Maresca as choices. I don't. To me, they're not. You know, I don't rate it. Did Pep, Klopp, or even Fergie follow the DNA of their club before their time? They created their own. United DNA is a scam that only us holders back, says Senor. Well, we had the message at the start of the week, didn't we? I forget the name. Apologies. The Yankees, the New York Yankees. I don't know anything about baseball, but the New York Yankees are one of the biggest sporting franchises in the world. They are. Like when I went to New York, I got my kids 3 caps with the new NY on, New York Yankees. You don't even associate it with the New York Yankees. It's a brand. Their owners apparently just live on nostalgia, but they don't do anything in the modern day. And yet it's one of the biggest sport franchises in the world. Man United's the same. They don't. They live on They live on nostalgia. DNA, the United way. You know, it's bullshit. It's bullshit to make you put your hand in your pocket. This here is the biggest fucking scam in the world. And I bloody bought it. It's a scam. It's an absolute scam. It's a bloody lovely kit. It's a lovely kit. My son's got one. I've got one. It's on my bloody Instagram. It's a lovely kit. We're shit in it. We've sacked a manager in it because he wanted to sign players to make us better. I love this kit and loads of us bought it. And you know why we bought it? Because it's based on a kit that Eric Cantona wore when we won the league from a time when we were good. And we buy it. We've been scammed because it's a lovely kit that reminds us when we were good. And that's what we are. That is exactly why they win. Because they get kits out like that remind us and do look very nice of times when we were good. And we all go, I'll buy that. It looks great. But the team that wears it is shit. The manager has asked for better players to wear that shirt and they've sacked him. And next summer, it'll probably be a kit based on that one. And I'll go, I love that kit. A royal blue kit with black on it. It reminds me of the kit we wore when we won the league. And they'll do it again and again and again. And we're all culpable of that. We are. Thanks for all your work, mate. Enjoy watching football and having you on. It's like watching with someone and being able to chat about the match. Says, oh, 100%. That's what it is. And thank you to all you as well. Nate says, please give a shout out to Naz. She's watching. Thank you, Naz. Nick Collins says, I also disagree with your argument that these players got Ollie sacked by not playing for him. There's only 5 first-team players left since Ollie's last time here. None of them down tools against him. Oh, Nick, I disagree with you. Boo fucking who? I'm not being disrespectful, Nick, but boo fucking who? I don't care. I disagree with you. What do you mean there's only 5? So half a team aren't culpable for Solskjaer getting the sack? Well, you do you and I'll do me. I think it's bloody ridiculous to bring Solskjaer back to players that sacked him and everyone puts their armband around the shoulder. I think it's stupid, Nick, but, you know, each their own. If Ollie's appointed, will he be a manager or a coach? I remember you said Amorim was a manager, even though United said he's a coach. Do you share the opinion we need a manager, not a coach? We do need a manager, not a coach, Ryle, because the only way a coach works is if you've got an organisation that you trust. If you've got a coach under an organisation that's shit, you're in big trouble. And that's what we've got. Thank you for keeping me entertained during my 10-hour shifts. You're a legend, Mark, says Porth. Thank you very much. Legend. And Alan Marjorie Banks has gifted 10 memberships. You're an absolute legend, pal. Right, I'm going to go and watch a film. It's Saturday night. I'm going to go and watch a film. Look, it is Saturday night. I've had a couple of drinks. But the point remains, I think that, you know, less about me, more about you. Match day tomorrow. Very much looking forward to it, to be honest. Hopefully we can win because we need to be very, very serious in the FA Cup. But I want to just say, I don't know where it's going to go, but I've never had a week like this on the United stand when it comes to the owners. The fact that 70% of you don't want Ollie is incredible. Nothing to do with Ollie. Ollie is a legend. But the fact that people see it for what it is incredible. It's a smokescreen. It's a protector. They're only bringing him in to protect themselves. They're not bringing him in because it's good for the club. It's embarrassing. The whole week, no one's talking about the players. The whole week, a lot of people are saying, you know, as much as I didn't like Amorim, you don't sack him for asking for players and you don't get him to change a formation. It's all been this week about the board and the owners. And, you know, it might not last into next week, but I didn't think it would last this long. So, absolutely incredible. I think it's superb that people are waking up to the real issues at Man United. And hopefully it can continue. But if it doesn't, I'm amazed that it went this long. So I think it's been a really good week, and I think it's really important. And you know what? Even if some of you go back to being, you know, minions of the Glazers, in, you know, subconsciously or whatever, I don't think the vast majority will. I think lessons have been learnt this week. I just hope one day it leads to these idiots not running our football club, because then I genuinely think we can have that reset. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.